pricing myths that if you're thinking about putting your home on the market, you need to stay away from. That's for sure. All right, okay, I'm getting back to my little list and I'm going to turn it over. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to put myself on a timer. I do very good with timers because it keeps me on track. Okay. So this is a 2-minute timer. Okay. Pricing myths sellers shouldn't fall for. The first one is price high because the seller can always go down. Hear this all the time. Actually, it doesn't really work that way. Challenge is that the first 30 days and really the first week, you know, is the most critical time to go on the market at a really attractive price, because a lot of the buyers are on these email alerts for not only, you know, Zillow and Trulia and all these websites. So, you know, the real active ones are getting alerts immediately because they're the hot buyers. But they're also working with realtors, and the realtors have them on MLS alerts, and the realtors are out previewing. So in any part of the country, it doesn't matter where you are, but especially here in Orange County where I work, you know, we start wondering why a home has been on the market for more than 30 days. Obviously, if it's a higher price property, you know, if it's like $3 million, it might stay on the market more than 30 days. It could stay on the market longer. But even with that, you know, some of the really great priced $3 million properties, you know, that look good and everything, and they're not under market. I don't say to price your home under market. They do sell within the first week because it is a good market. So definitely in regards to pricing, because a lot of times people think that if they, you know, they price high, they could come down and it will make them look like, oh, they're a great deal once they've gone down in price. But, you know, you might lose out on that perfect buyer who's only looking up to a certain price point. And their realtor has even put them under the MLS alert system up to a certain price point, so they may not even know about your home. Okay, timer's going off. Okay, so while I'm doing this, I'm going to switch you. See the harbor. All right, there we go. I'm going to then redo my timer. Repeat. Okay, now go back to me. Okay, there. Now the next one is, if a home is priced right, a seller risks leaving money on the table. Definitely. I get that all the time on listing appointments. They say, oh my gosh, well, Lori, if we price it at the listing price you're recommending, we are going to leave money on the table because everyone wants a deal. They want to negotiate. And a lot of times when I'm recommending a list price, I'm recommending very close to what it's going to sell for. You know, I'm not recommending that, you know, we list it at a much higher price and then it's going to negotiate down $50,000 or anything like that. But you see, it's the same thing as what I said in the last point. The market will come to you when you're well priced. And I tell sellers this, I would rather see you turn down, you know, 5 offers, 10 offers that aren't to your liking because you are so well priced and you're out there. Hello again. And the buyers are not realistic. Notice how I just remembered where I was at. My timer went off, but I'm going to do it again. Actually, I'm just going to let it keep going off. So anyway, because the buyers aren't realistic, so I say, I'd rather see you turn down 10 offers that aren't to your liking because you're well priced and the market's coming to you than not receive one because, you know, you're overpriced. And so that is called, you know, assertive marketing. It's proactive marketing rather than traditional marketing methods where you're just waiting for the market to come to you. You're just hoping that that perfect buyer is going to come to you. So anyway, since my timer's going off, going on to the next point. So let me switch this around. Oh, I have a beautiful dog in front of me. Good morning. How are you? Good. Okay. There we go. Switch it back. All right. There. Third point. The price gets better with time. All right, sometimes they say, well, if I don't get the right price right now, I'll go ahead and take it off the market and I'm going to relist it next year, because next year in spring it might be better. Or they may even say, well, you know, I hear great news that, look, you know, you're saying inventory is so low and my, you know, the market may catch up to my price. I've heard that one before too. No, it doesn't work that way. First of all, let me address the one issue about putting it back on the market the very next year. You don't have any control of what the market's going to do. We definitely know this year that interest rates are rising. So do you really want to risk that the perfect buyer who's out there right now, you know, first of all, they may not be around, of course, next year. They're probably going to be making a buying decision this year. And then also, you know, what are the interest rates going to be? They could be, you know, a couple % higher. You don't know what is going to happen with anything in the world. I mean, I don't want to be, I'm definitely not a pessimist, but we don't have control over what's happening around us. And it could be a totally different market next year. Also, your circumstances may change as a seller. And do you really want to take those chances? Getting back to, the market will catch up to us because we're in a seller's market. No, the longer you're on the market, your home becomes, you know, it's become stagnant. So people wonder, well, why is this listing on the market? It hasn't been on the market for so many days. So if anything, you go down in price, not up in price. Okay, timer's going off. I'm going to switch this around, let you see the view. All right, let me switch my timer to the next one. And my dog sweater came off, so I just have to put it back on. Okay, now she's going to be very grateful for that. Look at that water. At least you have a good view while I'm doing this. And let me go to the... Okay, next point. Well, her sweater is to the side again, but we have 2 minutes. Okay. X price is as low as the seller will go. So you go into a listing appointment. The seller says, well, you know, I paid this price for my home and I am not going below this price. Good morning. So you could take the listing, just as long as you know I will not go this low. Like they draw a line in the sand and that's their line. And you know what I always say, well, you know, I can appreciate that, but so let's look at your options. So what happens if you don't get that price? Are you open to leasing your home? Are you open to, you know, waiting, you know, of course, till next year to sell? What if the market changes and it actually declines next year? Are you willing to wait 5 to 7 years to sell your home? Because in a declining market, it can take 5, 7 years for the market to recover. But then you're looking at when it starts appreciating. I'm just putting my dog sweater back in line. But when the market starts appreciating, it's going to take at least a few more years, if not 3 to 5, to catch back up to your price. So you really have to qualify people, because so many people have a price that they're so adamant they have to have. And I get this all the time because, you know, some people still haven't recovered from 2006 values here. I'd say most have, but in certain areas they haven't. Timer is going off. I need to go on to the next point. Let me switch this around. Okay, look at the view. Isn't that gorgeous? Here's the harbor. Switch my timer. Okay, and I'm going to go to the next point. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to switch it back. Okay. I really am talking fast because I'm trying to get this all out. Next one is an offer should come in close to asking price. Okay, I wrote that one down because, well, if it's priced right, we're probably going to sell it close to asking price. But do sellers get offers lower than the asking price. Sometimes they get a lot lower and they get offended. And sometimes that happens as soon as they go on the market. But, you know, we have to take the emotion out of negotiating, and we have to remind our sellers, or remind you right now, that, you know, buyers are going to try. And I always recommend at least still counter. Because the good news is, you can tell everyone out there, you got your first offer already. Even if it's low, you got your first offer. You don't tell people that it's low, but you got your first offer. Throw out a counter offer, even if the counter offer's full price. You know, maybe I recommend going down a couple $1,000s, or, you know, at least giving a little bit, something to entice them. But if you're really priced right, then, and you feel that way, and your realtor feels that way, and you're getting a lot of activity, go back full price then. And then the buyer, it's going to be up to the buyer how they react to it. So, you know, and give them 3 days to respond, see what other offers come in. So I would always recommend responding to an offer. I mean, obviously, if it's like so crazy, where let's just say it's a $1 million home and they come in at $750,000, no, that might be really crazy and they're off their rocker. If it's a contingent offer, contingent upon a home selling, and you just put your home on the market, no, I probably wouldn't do that. Or counter back, at least counter and say no contingency, because that buyer may figure out a way to still purchase your property. Okay, now timer's going off, switching this around. Okay, harbor still again. See how calming this is. I hope this is making you feel relaxed. I'm trying to at least not talk as fast when I'm doing my timer part while you're looking at the view. Okay, timer just went on again. And I want to say hi to Rhonda and Jason and Stuart, my bro, everyone, so supportive. Okay, now next one, outdated features shouldn't impact my selling price. I get this one a lot too. So go on a listing appointment. Everyone thinks their home is made out of gold. Literally. I mean, maybe not literally, but you know, they always have stars in their eyes. And it's really, I mean, it's kind of cute at times, but I have to justify, well, this other property had a lot of upgrades, and they had a much larger backyard, and that's why they got X amount of money. And their property, you know, was built 30 years ago, and they haven't done any upgrades, but they feel that they should get the same amount. So it's very important as a seller to really be very realistic, because it's not that a seller is going to get their replacement value on all of their upgrades. An appraiser doesn't look at that way either. They look at it what the buyer feels the upgrades are worth to them. So, you know, they will give extra value for upgraded kitchens and, of course, added square footage. And, you know, if the backyard is a wow point, definitely, you know, by upgrading that. So, but if your place has the old carpet and the old, you know, kitchen and the old bathrooms and all that, don't expect that you're going to get the same value as your neighbor next door who spent $200,000 on updating their property. So I really tried to have people be realistic about that. Of course, unless the property sold a couple years ago and the market's gone up. Okay, timer's going off. Perfect timing, because I have to clean up after my dog. And I'm going to show you the other part of the harbor where there is, this is the aquatic area where there's like a little museum. So you can over there. Okay, and then while we're doing that, and I'm going to reset the timer after I clean up after my dog, being my responsible dog owner, which I hope all of you are. And then I'll be going to the next one. Okay. Oh, and oh, isn't that beautiful? Look at those birds. You know, being an early morning person, you get to hear nature. You just start your morning out in the right way, and it impacts everything. And a long time ago, I used to be a late night person. And I don't know, it's just so wonderful being early morning. So for those of you who like to stay up late, you may want to reconsider starting out your mornings early, because you get to see things like this. Okay, now I'm almost done. And then I'm going to the next point. Okay, so let me switch it over. Oh, let me do the timer first. Thanks for putting up with me. Okay, there we go. Repeat. There. I wish I had a timer. I'm going to figure this out for next time. Okay. And how did I make the switch from going from being a late night person to a morning person? I'll tell you after this video. How's that? See, I'm being really good about being consistent here. Okay, next point. But thanks for the question, Kathy. Okay, seller says, oh my gosh, I've done so many upgrades, so I should increase the sales price. It should increase the sales price significantly. My property is worth, $200,000 more than the other property. Well, first of all, it depends on the upgrades. And because a lot of times, the upgrades that you put in, the next buyer may not appreciate. And, like some people have put in a lot of granite, or they put in marble floors. And a lot of buyers may not like granite. They're into quartz countertops. They're into wood floors. And I'm not saying all buyers. It could just be those buyers that are looking at the home. Some buyers don't want carpet, and you would just put in new carpet. And because they have allergies, and they don't want carpet at all in their house. Whatever you consider as an upgrade, they may not consider. Now, pools, I think, is a little bit different. Usually with pools, there are a lot of buyers that don't want pools, so they don't consider it an upgrade. But I don't think a lot of those buyers are looking at homes that have pools. So it's like a certain niche for a buyer for a home that has a pool. So keep in mind that, upgrades like a kitchen, yeah, they do make a difference. But for every dollar you put into it, it's not necessarily going to bring up your value, especially if it's a tract home. Tract homes where, there's a property, lost my list, I just have to pick it up. They don't necessarily, one sells for, let's say, $800,000, and the other one put $200,000 into their property. They over-improve for the neighborhood. Really improve it for yourself, that you're going to enjoy it, and not because you're going to reap the rewards when you sell the home. Okay, so I'm switching my timer, and this is the Pilgrim ship right there. It's pretty famous, and I could tell you about that a little bit later, but I'm just trying to stay on course here. Okay, there we go, back. And let's see here. I'm on my 8th point. The active comps in the neighborhood are high, so I should list my home high as well. I get that a lot. In fact, when I start out with market analysis, well, I do it a couple ways. Sometimes I start with the active listings just to show them what's on the market, and I always preview every single listing, so I am very aware of what the competition is. But I always tell them that a lot of the active listings, I show them the combined days on market, because in most of your areas and different parts of the country, you have combined days on market and days on market. Many of these homes have been relisted and with different realtors. So I call active listings fantasy land, because many sellers are in fantasy land, and the realtors are just willing to take the listings because they want listings to get buyers. So we need to go off of closed escrows. We could go off of pending sales as well, but we don't know what they closed escrow for. We just assume if they sold right away, they probably sold close to full price. So we could, usually use those, but closed escrows. So we want to list the home very close to the closed escrow prices, because then that will create a multiple offer frenzy. If you list with the actives, you're not going to stand out in the market. And if you look at the average days on market for the actives, you know, they're going to be considerably higher than the successful ones. And then so many times, just for fun, I'll pull up the expired listings, the ones that failed to sell in their neighborhood, and they'll go, oh my gosh, I thought that one sold. I said, nope, that one was on the market for 276 days, or this one was on the market for 520 days, and they had 3 price adjustments. Anyway, timer's going off. Going on to the next one. If you have questions as sellers, obviously, please interview my team and me in Orange County, California. But if you're from another part of the country or the world, I can help you find one of the top 1% in the country, the world, realtors to work with you. But let me go to the next thing. I'm going to switch this around so you can see all the boats. Okay, here's the harbor, here's the boats. I'm going to switch my timer. I need to find a timer that just repeats automatically on my Apple Watch. And I think I could figure it out. Okay, I'm going to switch back. Yay! But in a way, it's kind of nice because when I'm doing the switching, you can see the view, not just me all the time. Okay, there. This one I thought was, I put this on just right when I was coming to the harbor. But my value on Zillow is so much higher. I get this a lot. Yeah, Zillow is, realtors kind of laugh whenever they hear that. I mean, I advertise on Zillow. I'm a Zillow Premier Realtor. So, you know, I get this quite a bit. Oh, good morning, how are you? But Zillow goes off of the county tax assessor's records. And a lot of people don't realize it. And the county tax assessor's records are many times off. And so many times it shows that your home is a 3-bedroom when it really is a 4-bedroom. And when there aren't enough comparables in your neighborhood, like out here in Orange County, we have a lot of neighborhood builder tracts. So when we pull up comparables for a home, we go by that neighborhood or that development. And then we may even go outside for the competition outside the neighborhood. But we first start with a tract, the builder tract. Well, what Zillow does, it doesn't recognize that a home next door is in a different tract. So it could have a home next door that's in a gated community that's right next to pretty much a dump. I mean, I hate to say that, that's outside within a couple blocks. And, you know, it can, if you're the one with the dump, not that I'm saying any of you have a dump, Zillow can give you the higher value. So you could see values that are like 40% higher than normal, 20% higher. Sometimes they're lower. So don't rely on the Zillow values. Okay, good morning. So I am done with my compelling pricing myths for sellers. I finished, yay. I'm gonna finish this and then I'm gonna do a quick live video just to say good morning to everyone. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have an awesome day. Beautiful Dana Point Harbor. And I will catch you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.